my beautiful friend. My name is Mollie Sommer, and today is my very first vlog. And so I thought I would introduce myself and how I got to this point. And then at the end, I will share a little bit of my vision as to how this is going to move forward for me. And so if you like it, please like and subscribe to my page, like this video, and comment below where you're from and what resonated with you as I share my journey into the goddess. When I was born, I was already deeply connected to the goddess. I can remember my favorite things as a child was to climb the tree in my backyard and talk to her, sit in her branches, and just, speak to the world, speak to the elements, imagine things in the clouds, talk to the birds. I was a very free-spirited child. And that's when I was at my purest essence. That's when all of us are at our purest essence, who we are meant to be here in this world. And so, of course, as I grew, life started happening, as it does with everybody. And I started to be inflicted with wounds, as we all are. But I was still very deeply connected to the earth. I was happiest when I was out riding my bike or riding my horse in the forest. I didn't really understand what it was at that point, but that is where I found my silence. I found my ability to connect. When I hit puberty, I started having visions. I started seeing things like the tree of life. I started having this deep yearning or calling to connect to the mother goddess. I experienced a calling to learn more about spirituality. And when I first started to go down my path of a spiritual teacher, I started learning about the history of religion, and it really did not sit very well with me. The idea that religion taught fear in order to bring people into the churches throughout the, quote unquote dark ages really didn't resonate with what I knew in my heart was truth, which was that God was unconditional love, and there was no damnation. There was no goblins waiting for you at Hell's Gate, because we are all invited into that unconditional love that the universe, the goddess, the God is. And so I had a little bit of a falling out with my spirituality, with conventional spirituality. And I began journeying down a path where I kind of resisted it. And yet, it was still there, kind of hiding in the shadows or in my dreams. I've always been able to dream and manifest quickly. I've always been able to dream and watch it play out in my real life. Things like deja vu, but with such detail that I remember having the dream or when I had the dream. If this happens to you, a great tool to use is a dream journal, which will help you understand when you dreamt the moment that you're moving through in reality. So I had these visions, I had these dreams, and yet I felt very disconnected. I began living a life that was very much a should life. Things that I should be doing. Going to school for things that I should be doing. Being in relationships that I should be in. And I would say that I strayed from my original path, my soul's path. But in doing so, I learned the lessons to bring me back here, to be able to share with you, to be able to voice with you. When I had my children, everything changed. I knew I was going to have twins. I knew that from a very young age. And it awoke something in me because I was no longer only responsible for myself. I realized that I had to start healing my ancestral trauma so that I didn't pass it on to my children. As they say, the buck stops here. And so I started changing my life, slowly by slowly at first. It was not a large course correction, although there were some very large life-changing moments, which, as we get to know each other, I will share with you. I wouldn't say that I am a fast learner. At least I wasn't in the beginning. I had to repeat patterns over and over and over again. And the old adage is that a pattern will be repeated until learned. A lesson will be repeated until learned. And some lessons take longer to learn because we resist them. It wasn't until I surrendered that things started happening more quickly. It wasn't until that day that I literally got down on my knees and was like, this way of life doesn't work for me anymore. It's too painful. My body cannot handle it. I need help. And the very next day, things started changing. That was almost 6 years ago. And the journey that I have been on for the last 6 years has been nothing short than magical. In surrendering, we allow the universe to rise up to join us. And the journey becomes more fluid, more flow, like a river leaving the mountains and journeying to the sea. It always finds the path of least resistance. And it's in that surrender that we grow, we change, and our life that was dies away. This past summer was another big death for me, in that I realized that there is no such thing as death. I got sick in August and I had the big C. And for the first week, it was manageable. It felt okay. I was actually, surprised that this is what everybody was talking about. But then day 10 hit and I went downhill very quickly. 2 days later, I was calling the hospital, calling 911 to seek help. I was in a very dark place. I felt a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of anger that didn't want, that created an energy of not wanting to carry on. And in the past, I'd had these thoughts before, but I had always been very connected to this life through my children. But in this moment, it didn't matter. I was ready to leave the earth. And that's when I heard the voice say, "Death is only for the living." Meaning that when our body dies, it is not death, it is a rebirth. And the ego, the human in us, is the only part that is afraid of death. And I heard those words from the goddess. They were feminine, they were loving, they were nurturing. And I knew in that moment that I was going to be okay. A week later, I was climbing a mountain because the same voice, the same beautiful guidance was telling me that my body was healthy enough to do it if I went slowly, if I nurtured myself, if with each step I took deep breaths and allowed myself to rest. I got to the top of the mountain and it was nothing short of magnificent. As I lay there in the soft grass, being held by the earth, I felt connected to everything and everyone. This is our true state. This is the ecstasy of life. So I let go of the ideas of the ego. I let go of what my life should look like. And I began letting in the co-creation with the goddess, moving into a more aligned feminine way, which isn't always taking action. It is creating space to allow myself to receive, allow myself to surrender, and allow the co-creation of the universe, of the goddess, of the gods to rise up. And I see proof of it every single day. I see proof that in speaking to you today, it will take me to the next place that I'm meant to be. And so I sit here offering you this story with complete reverence, joy, and gratitude for the guidance that I have had to bring me here. Because I can see the future. I can see the path with such clarity. And I fully believe that this is what it feels like to be completely experiencing human existence. We are souls here in this body. We are here to learn. We are here to experience. And we've forgotten that we are magical. We're pure energy and light. And the only thing that prevents us from experiencing the magic of who we are the beliefs that we are limited by this physical existence. And my friend, we are not. We are not. There is so much more. And so my vision for this channel, my vision for moving forward is sharing with you how I opened myself to this path and sharing with you love, creating community, guiding you, supporting you, helping you, and offering you what flows through me for you. So my beautiful friend, thank you for being here. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better. So please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And before we leave, just take a moment and place your hands on your heart. Acknowledge yourself for the beautiful being that you are. And I honor you. I honor the goddess and the God within you. You are beautiful. You are light. You are magical. Have a beautiful day, my friend.